Those who grew up in the 80s or 90s may remember The Jetsons, a cartoon where cars flew, robots took care of the house, and everything was automated, from meals to space travel. It seemed like just a futuristic fantasy, science fiction with neon lights and cities in the clouds. But what if I told you that, in some places around the world, it has already begun? There aren't flying cars yet, but there are already robots delivering packages, cleaning streets, and assisting with traffic. There are also cameras that recognize your face on the street and cross-reference your data, buildings that turn into giant screens, and even artificial intelligence making decisions in real time. And the most curious thing is that almost no one outside China knows about this place. It doesn't have the fame of Shanghai or the political weight of Beijing. Even so, it was here that the country decided to experiment with what would become the world of tomorrow. And the result is as impressive as it is disturbing. Today on Bello Mundo, we're going to learn about Chengdu, China's scariest city of the future. Number 1. Location and general information. Chengdu is located in southwestern China, in the center of Sichuan province, just over 930 miles from Beijing. By high-speed train, it takes about 7 hours. By plane, just over 2. It is not part of the country's traditional tourist circuit, which honestly is a shame, because this place has its own attractions, many of which you won't find anywhere else in China. The region is surrounded by mountains and crossed by several rivers. The terrain is mostly flat, but the climate is heavy. In summer, the heat is stifling and easily exceeds 90 degrees Fahrenheit. In winter, it doesn't get freezing cold, but it's constantly cold. The minimum temperature is around 50 degrees. It doesn't usually snow, but the humidity and lack of wind make it feel even colder. The overcast sky is almost a trademark. Days of fog give the city a still, silent feel, as if time has stopped. More than 20 million people live here, and despite its size, the pace on the streets is different. There is none of the hustle and bustle you see in Shanghai or Beijing. There is a way of life here that we will show you later, but this calm is only on the surface. In recent years, Chengdu has become one of the country's largest technology hubs. Companies specializing in artificial intelligence, robotics, digital security, and automation are scattered throughout the new districts. And many futuristic solutions that are still being tested in other parts of the world are already part of everyday life here. That's how the city came to be called the City of the Future. Modern, connected, efficient. And that's why so many people consider Chengdu one of the most frightening cities in contemporary China. But to understand how it all began, we need to take a few steps back. Number 2. History. Chengdu existed long before China became a unified empire. The city was founded as the capital of the ancient kingdom of Shu, an independent civilization that ruled the southwest of the country more than 300 years before Christ. They had their own language, their own gods, and left behind relics that still baffle experts today. The name Chengdu means something like to become a capital, and that has never been just symbolic. The city has been the seat of regional kingdoms, survived civil wars, earthquakes, repression, and political collapse. But it has never lost its relevance. In the 3rd century, it became the stage for one of the most remarkable periods in Chinese history, the Three Kingdoms era. It was here that Liu Bei, one of the most legendary generals of the time, established his government. The battles, betrayals, and alliances of this period were immortalized in the book Romance of the Three Kingdoms, written by Luo Guanzhong. The work became a cultural reference, inspiring films such as The Battle of the Three Kingdoms and games such as Dynasty Warriors. During the Tang Dynasty, considered the golden age of Chinese culture, Chengdu grew as a center of trade and silk production. It was a lively city with poets, markets, theaters, and caravans passing through on their way to the interior of the country. Later, during the Song and Ming dynasties, which ruled between the 10th and 17th centuries, the city consolidated its role as an economic and political center. It was during this period that the first paper money system in history emerged here. Before that, no one in the world used paper money as we know it today. In other words, innovation is in the local DNA. Unfortunately, in the 20th century, it lost some of its peace. It was bombed during the Japanese occupation, lived through the years of censorship of the Cultural Revolution, and underwent forced industrialization in the 80s, marked by rapid growth and disorderly expansion. Even so, Chengdu did not stop. Over the following decades, the city took shape, paving wide avenues, expanding universities, and building what would become one of China's largest urban infrastructure networks. Over time, it ceased to be just a regional center and began to attract companies, investments, and young people from all over the country. Even so, the city did not lose its character. While other metropolises tried to look modern by copying Western models, Chengdu followed its own path. And the most curious thing is that much of this past is still standing. Number 3. Natural heritage and land of giant pandas. The Chengdu region has been known for centuries as the land of abundance. The name comes from the combination of fertile soil, rivers that irrigate the plantations, and a humid climate that allows for year-round agriculture. Since imperial times, this part of southwestern China has always produced rice, tea, fruits, vegetables, all on a generous scale. One of the reasons for this abundance is the Dujiangyan Dam, built in the 3rd century BC. It diverts water from the Min River to irrigate the plains without causing flooding. And the most incredible thing is that it still works today. It has been in operation for over 2,000 years without interruption. But Chengdu also has another powerful symbol, a symbol that has become the city's trademark, the giant panda. The giant panda research and breeding base on the outskirts of the city is a world-renowned center for the preservation of the species. It began in 1987 with 6 rescued pandas. Today, it is home to more than 200. Seeing the animals there, eating bamboo and sleeping leisurely, is one of the most popular attractions. But it's not just tourism. The work there is scientific. Thanks to the center's efforts, pandas are no longer considered a critically endangered species. And this passion for pandas is everywhere. Sculptures, signs, stuffed animals, 3D panels. Chengdu has embraced the animal as part of its identity. But pandas aren't the only source of local pride. There's another element that defines this city just as much: the food. Number 4. Gastronomy. Eating here is almost an endurance test. Those who love chili peppers will have a blast. Those who don't will suffer a little, but survive. Since 2011, the city has held the title of City of Gastronomy, awarded by UNESCO. Here, eating is an intense experience, marked by fiery peppers, thick sauces, and that curious numbing sensation caused by the famous Sichuan pepper. The most iconic dish is hot pot, a pot of boiling broth filled with spices where everyone dips their portion of meat, tofu, or vegetables, and then seasons it to their liking. It's spicy, it's strong, and it's communal. There's also mapo tofu, which mixes soft tofu with ground meat and fermented bean sauce. There's dandan mian, thin noodles served with peanut paste, minced meat, and of course, lots of chili peppers. There are dozens of typical dishes, many sold at street stalls, and everything has personality. Even breakfast here is spicy. The food culture is everywhere. Entire families gathered around a warm table, crowded tea houses, executives sharing dumplings with taxi drivers. Eating well is almost a moral duty. And for those who don't like spicy food, no problem. There's always a sweet herbal tea to relieve the damage. But the food here isn't just about flavor. It also shows how much the city preserves its customs. And that's where another curious trait comes in: everyday life here. Number 5. Everyday life. Besides the food, another thing that stands out in Chengdu is the contrast. The city has grown, modernized, and become an economic hub. But the habit of stopping to drink tea, play cards in the square, or cook at home has never disappeared. There's even an expression for it, man sheng huo. It means slow life. And it's not just a figure of speech, it's a real lifestyle. Here, the day starts later. People walk slowly. The noise doesn't come from traffic, but from open-air markets, street vendors, and conversations in parks. While other Chinese cities speed up, Chengdu seems to have found its own way of functioning. The parks are always full. Sidewalks become game rooms with mahjong tables. Many people still carry thermos bottles with tea. The lines are not silent, they are lively. And the constant presence of pandas reinforces this image of a calm, friendly, even somewhat lazy place. But all this calm is deceptive. Because behind this lazy routine, Chengdu hides a side that few people imagine. A technological side that is monitored and, in some ways, even frightening. Number 6. Innovation and a rising technology hub. Behind this slow-paced lifestyle, Chengdu has become one of China's most promising technology hubs. In recent decades, the city has been redesigned to become a benchmark in science, innovation, and the digital economy. And it's not just talk. The best example of this is the Chengdu High-Tech Industrial Development Zone, a high-tech zone created in the south of the city. This is where Tianfu Software Park was born, a technology park that, in the 2010s, attracted giants such as IBM, Intel, Huawei, Cisco, Nokia, and SAP. Today, more than 300 companies from the Fortune 500 list have a presence here. Most operate with a focus on IT, biotechnology, digital security, and artificial intelligence. It is a complete structure. It has offices, universities, residential areas, and shopping centers, all designed to function as a city within a city. Chengdu has also become an attractive destination for startups. The government offers incentives, the cost of living is lower than in Shanghai or Beijing, and the city trains thousands of engineers every year. The result? It has become a new Chinese Silicon Valley. And the most impressive thing is how quickly it all happened. Areas that were once rice and pepper plantations have become futuristic neighborhoods with smart buildings and cutting-edge urban planning. As the government owns the land, construction can proceed without legal obstacles. Decisions are made quickly, and what was on paper becomes concrete in a matter of months. But this rapid modernization is not limited to glass buildings and technology offices. It has changed the way people live. Number 7. Technology and surveillance. In recent years, the city has become one of the country's main technology hubs. Robotics, artificial intelligence, and digital security companies dominate the industrial districts. And what is impressive is that many futuristic solutions that are still being tested in other parts of the world have been working here for quite some time. It is common to see deliveries made by robots in some neighborhoods. Autonomous vehicles circulate in specific areas of the city. Even street sweepers in some areas are machines that work alone, without a driver, with deviation sensors and a programmed route. But nothing draws more attention than the police robots. Since June 2025, humanoid models and even quadrupeds have been patrolling busy areas such as Tianfu Square. They have cameras, sensors, communicate through artificial intelligence, and return to base on their own to recharge at the end of their shift. There are also stationary robots that direct traffic with gestures synchronized with traffic lights, as if they were real officers, only automated. Facial recognition is everywhere. Building doors, subway turnstiles, traffic lights, stores, schools. At various points throughout the city, a person's simple walk is recorded, cross-referenced with a database, and processed by artificial intelligence in real time. In schools, the use of these technologies has also been tested. In 2018, a school in Hangzhou installed cameras that measured students' attention levels during class. If a child looked away for too long, the system recorded it. The initiative sparked controversy and eventually forced the Chinese government to issue a warning limiting this type of technology in classrooms. Even so, some universities in the Sichuan region continue to test similar systems, trying to adjust the pace of classes based on students' expressions. At some intersections, digital panels display the faces of people who cross outside the crosswalk, sometimes with partial names and ID numbers. Citizens no longer need to present documents. They are identified wherever they go. Their data circulates in the cloud at all times. For many people, all this is synonymous with convenience and security. But the cost of this efficiency is high, because what seems modern can also be invasive. The impact of these technologies can also be seen in public spaces and in the way the city has been redesigned to fit this new urban pattern. Number 8. Infrastructure and urban space. Chengdu's technological boom has been accompanied by a striking urban revolution. Until 2010, the city did not even have a subway. Today, there are more than 15 lines, totaling more than 370 miles of track, more than New York or London. Some operate without drivers, with automatic trains that look like something out of a futuristic park. Just glass, rails, and speed. Bus stops have also evolved. Many have sunroofs, Wi-Fi, cell phone chargers, and panels that show the real-time location of the bus. Even the trash cans have been updated. Some have sensors. Others are buried underground to prevent bad smells and overcrowding. In Tianfu's financial center, the highlight is the twin LED towers. With 58 floors, they transform into colossal screens at night. This is where virtual whales swim between buildings, dragons fly over the city, and 3D advertisements explode in color. And all of this is designed to be photographed, shared, and go viral. Right next door, elevated walkways, metal sculptures, and even futuristic bus stops have sprung up. The entire neighborhood was designed to look like a showcase, and it succeeded. There is also the New Century Global Center, the world's largest building in terms of floor space. It has over 1 million square meters of shopping, a skating rink, a movie theater, a hotel, and even an artificial beach with simulated waves. Yes, in the middle of inland China. And as if that weren't enough, Chengdu built a science fiction museum designed by architect Zaha Hadid, one of the world's leading figures in futuristic architecture. She also designed the London Aquatics Center, used in the 2012 Olympics, and the Opus Tower in Dubai, with its wavy shape and hole in the middle that has become a postcard image of the city, and now also here. The museum looks like a spaceship landed on the edge of a lake and was inaugurated as the headquarters of the World Science Fiction Convention in 2023. The city has literally become a science fiction setting. But the most curious thing is that, despite all this, Chengdu still tries to keep a little green. The city has created a 62-mile belt of wooded areas that surrounds the entire urban area. The idea is that no resident should be more than a 2-minute walk from a park or square. The problem is that, for many people, the result looks more like a showcase than a living city. Wide streets, rows of buildings, everything clean and quiet, beautiful, efficient, but cold. Number 9. Eyes on the future. Amidst all the smart concrete, animated screens, and sensors everywhere, Chengdu seems ready. But the city is still far from reaching its limit. The subway network will continue to grow, with a goal of exceeding 600 miles of track by the end of the decade. Test zones for autonomous vehicles already exist, and the plan is to turn these isolated experiments into the norm. The company behind the LED Twin Towers also wants to expand the idea. The goal now is to create a new generation of interactive buildings with facades that change according to the weather, time of day, or flow of people. Literally, buildings that communicate with the city. On the environmental front, the plans are also bold. Chengdu has launched a program to remove 300,000 gasoline-powered cars from the streets by 2027. All will be replaced by electric vehicles. In addition, the city is investing in the concept of a sponge city, a type of urban planning that prioritizes green areas capable of absorbing rainwater and preventing flooding. The Chengdu Future Science City District is already under construction near the new airport. The proposal is to create an entire neighborhood based on clean energy, eco-friendly housing, and a technology research campus. A prototype city of the future to show the world. And anyone who sees all this happening so fast wouldn't be surprised if Chengdu also had flying cars in a few years. It feels like we're not far from the Jetsons world, but it's not all lights and algorithms. The question remains, how can traditional life be maintained in an increasingly automated environment? How far does control go? Where does freedom begin? And what is still spontaneous in a place where even the steps of pedestrians are tracked? These questions remain unanswered, but they help explain why so many people see Chengdu not only as a modern city, but as a mirror of the future that awaits us, and that perhaps not everyone is ready to face. Have you ever been to Chengdu? Did it make you want to visit, or did you find it all too modern? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this tour of one of China's most futuristic and controversial cities, like it, subscribe to Bello Mundo, and activate the bell to travel with us to places that defy the logic of the world. See you at the next destination.